Hey y'all, had a good podcast here with Min. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about data centers. We talked about Title IV. We talked about some personal concerns of what's going on with our current legislation. We talked about blockchain and accountability. If you guys want to find me, I'm easy to find. Just Google Will Webb, Oklahoma, and I mean I'm the first guy to come up on Google. You can find me on Facebook, Will Webb for OK.
Welcome back to the Undefeated Show Defining Moments podcast, located here in Norman, Oklahoma, brought to you by Freedom and our amazing sponsors, M&D Drilling out of Waller, Texas. Today's very special guest, he goes by Will Webb, and that's actually your real name. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
well, yeah, William.
Yeah, William.
Yeah.
William Webb, welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate
You're
it.
running not for Oklahoma State House, but you're going for United States House.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're swinging big. And I'm glad you're on the podcast, man.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Before we get started, bro, thank you for your service to our great country.
Cool.
And there's a gift for you.
America.
Yeah, America,
Should I do
baby.
this now? Oh, you guys fitted it for me.
Hey, man.
That's it.
That's what we do. And then there's that cup for you on the right. And for the people who are guests that don't watch the show, this guy's got a mullet. It's
See
like
this?
Joe Dirt.
Yeah. DC Joe Dirt. That's
DC
it.
Joe Dirt. So, man,
Right
let's get
on.
into this, brother. Thanks for taking the drive down to Norman, Oklahoma, man. Will Webb, you're running. Why are you running? And let's talk about your life a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. First question: why am I running? So I run a nonprofit. I manage about I manage about 800 people. So it's a family advocacy group. I do things like audit family court cases, things in DHS, stuff like that. Stuff going on in schools. So just all of the stuff that kind of revolves around family. A lot of elderly people. I try to help them out with things like Social Security management, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just kind of like a holistic family group. And I talked to legislators about some issues, and the issues that I was bringing to them weren't really being handled, right? And so these are things that need to be handled at the federal level. And so if the solution were to be at the state level, believe me, I would be running for a state office.
Okay.
I mean, it would be difficult because two of my good friends are actually my senator and my House rep, so it would be
Okay.
I'd probably have to sit it out. But they do a really good job about representing the concerns that I bring to them from the people that I represent.
Okay.
So, like I said, about 800 people. A lot of those are kids that are going through some crazy transitions. Not like the transitions that Speaker McCall is trying to prevent from happening, but more like bad foster care stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So again, I brought these issues to the attention of the federal legislators, and it wasn't taken seriously. So a few issues that I'm running on are Title IV, which is kind of an auxiliary of the Social Security Act, and this thing came about around 1975 by a majority Democratic legislature, and then just kind of it was left alone. And what happens is there's there's this boatload of money. It's ill appropriated, and it allows legislators and judiciaries to just act silly with it. It's just a lot of wasteful spending. I'm pretty good at looking into things. I'm pretty good at auditing, and it's just something that I felt I have to do it because nobody else seems to care to do it.
Okay.
There is another guy who's running out of District 2 in Missouri. His name is Matt Grant. He's an attorney, pretty well-known attorney. And we've gone back and forth talking about the Title IV resolution. and there's a buddy of mine. A lot of people know him. Has a pretty well known case. His name's Wade Reeves. He runs Wade's RV out of Tulsa, and his situation's pretty well known. A lot of Title IV fraud going on there.
Hmm.
Another thing that I do is I do audits on parenting coordinators who are attorneys referred by judges. I do audits on mental health care workers that are um, that are behaving suspiciously, like they may be abusing Medicare, right? I'm sorry, Medicaid,
Mhm.
right? So our state healthcare programs, and what happens is like these kids sometimes, whether they're in foster care or whether they're subject to like high conflict custody cases, their parents are divorced or whatever, or even schools send them there because they don't know how to deal with kids, right? So they'll do recurring billing on issues that aren't even really issues with these kids. And sometimes we have records of like 10 to 15 years of billing. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
of taxpayer dollars that it's not necessary, right? These could be going to feeding people that need it, to elder health care, to real needs of children, and not just this mess around stuff.
Yeah.
So about me, second question.
Yeah.
I know it was kind of long winded, but so I'm a father, I'm a veteran, I'm a missionary. So first off, me being a father is probably the second most important thing to me next to my faith. But my child, I'm very dedicated to. I homeschool. We do extracurriculars. She's in gymnastics. She's in junior jujitsu. I mean, she is a rough, tough little girl, but
Yeah.
I mean, she's sass, and so I do that, and we do all the fun stuff. Like I said, I'm super committed to my kid, and I also manage a family of 6 other members. So my mom's retired. My stepdad is a Vietnam veteran.
Okay.
VA disability, all that stuff. Manage a lot of that stuff. My brother is a college student. His girlfriend's a college student. We live on a farm, and we each have our own thing going on. But I just kind of manage all of that, and then I have an uncle who has a pervasive disorder. So I have like hands-on experience with people with mental disabilities and,
Mm.
and things like that. And it's something that I've really, since I was 15, I've kind of been this caretaker. Whether it's like been Vietnam, whether it's been veterans. I took care of a Vietnam veteran whenever I was 15, and I like drove him around and all this stuff. He had Parkinson's disease,
Mm.
and so I really I developed a passion for taking care of people and having this really strong humanitarian stance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's kind of grown on me. And like I said, whenever you show these concerns to the people who are supposed to represent you, these people who are supposed to be making these laws to either rectify situations or create justice for people that have been overlooked or mistreated or abused, and they do nothing about it. It strikes something in you. So
Yeah.
it's kind of how I've gotten to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What are some of your setbacks that you've experienced through life?
oh man, I tell you what. So uh, my so my dad was actually he was one of the first medical responders um, to respond to the Murrah bombing,
Mm.
and it changed him, right? And so there were a lot of things that he dealt with in life that I was dealing with him.
Yeah.
So he died 2 years ago,
Mm.
and there's a lot into that. Just more failed systems, and it's that's probably been one of them. Um, The other thing is kind of like solo parenting is a learning process. I have one child, and I'm learning as I go with it. But she's a smart kid, and for the most part really well behaved. uh, and so just learning things um, that are really first time experiences. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily setbacks. They're just they're timely.
Mm.
You know, so, and then learning all of the things about being, a first-time candidate, uh, meeting all the people. Again, these aren't really setbacks. These are just, timely things. And so I don't really know if I've ever had any sort of setbacks. Just kind of learning curve and adjusting to the climates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, Congressional District 2, CD2, how many counties is CD2?
it's like 27 and a half. I mean, it's a 28, I guess.
So about 28 counties
Yeah.
out of 77 counties in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's quite a few
Yeah.
counties. That's a big area to represent.
Yeah, there's been days where I've gone from like Miami down to uh I don't know, like Indianola, is that? Yeah, down
Yeah.
south.
Yeah.
So or what is that place? Uh Durant. Yeah, so I think one day I went from Bartlesville to Durant.
That's a drive,
Yeah,
man.
it is. So
That's like 4 hours,
yeah,
and you're
it's-
not even leaving the state of Oklahoma.
yeah, it keeps me busy. So, like I don't have like a big crew or anything. I have two people that like work directly under me, and and then I have like people that are nice and whatever. I don't take any sort of donations, whatever. Like there's no way to donate to me. Like, um, and I filed a pledge to the FEC that I wouldn't take any donations from anyone whatsoever. So it just I solely fund my campaign.
Wow. So what did you do for a job before you decided to run?
Really nonprofit advising. Like so I have several nonprofit organizations. I have a group called Best Interest Group, which is my family advocacy group. I have a nonprofit ministry which I do things like write grant proposals for churches
Okay.
that needed a lot of technical writing, writing bills and helping legislators do research and helping churches learn how to navigate like the political climate. I've done a lot of um, I've done a lot of emergency management type stuff, crisis response type stuff. Like my education is organizational psychology and missions, um, and I've done stuff with FEMA. I've done stuff with Convoy of Hope. Um, Done stuff with Samaritan's Purse. I mean, I've picked up a lot of broken people and a lot of broken things. I'm trying to think. Like I have humanitarian awards from the government. I did 8 years and then so 8 years in the army, and then in the guard, and then some with FEMA and some contract stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been really good about keeping busy.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't really want for anything. I live kind of minimally, but I mean, I own my house, I own my vehicles and all that. I'm debt free, and I just, I just made it happen. Just kind of, roughed it until I didn't have anything to lose. And so, now I don't, I'm not at risk at losing anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You use the phrase political climate. What is the political climate to you, number one? And then number two, how are you navigating through your definition of political climate?
Yeah, I gotcha. So like you have to be observant of like the culture. I mean, because the culture of one room can be much different from the next, and learning the people that are around you, learning who they are around, who who pulls their strings or who they're trying to please or whatever, and just being observant, describing a political climate. Again, it's understanding like the tone of people, whether it's constituency or whether it's the candidates or legislators, or executives. So it's just it it's acknowledging the difference in each person, even if it's in the same room. Just having an understanding of who's who, what they represent,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of knowing what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Some people are more predictable.
Yeah, sure.
Some people
Sure.
are definitely more predictable. But yeah, that's political climate to me. It's like I said, you can have 5 gubernatorial candidates in there, and they're all saying that they're more conservative than the other, but they I guess they present a much different climate, like each of them does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
How do you deal with negativity?
uh, I'm pretty passive on it. If it's something that I've done, I try to acknowledge it immediately, and then try to compensate somehow. Um, if it's somebody that's just being like somebody that's being cynical, I'm pretty passive on it.
Yeah.
So I just you know, and and if I'm not passive, I'm probably trying to create some sort of comedic remedy. So I'm during this interview, I'll probably present pretty vanilla, but I'm a funny guy. So if people that have been around me, there's like John Eccles' staff, like they know that I'm a funny guy. And then people, like I said, people that have been around me, they know that I am the comedic relief in the room.
Okay, I know John Eccles and I know his staff fairly well, so I'm going to vet them
Okay.
on your
That's
humor.
fine.
I'm just kidding,
No,
man.
no,
I'm
do
not
that.
gonna-
Do that. I want all the vetting. Like I want all of the checks. So
Fact checked, fact checked,
Yeah.
fact checked. I got you, man. So the political climate on social media seems very intense. Right?
Mhm.
You have the far left and you have the far right. And then you have moderate left and moderate right. And it just seems like no one can really compromise. And I don't even want to compromise. I want to collaborate.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So all the tests that I've taken, I'm very much a Henry Clay. So like historically, Henry Clay was like a Whig at first, and then he became one of the first Republicans. Lincoln became one of the first Republicans, and so I'm in there. So Henry Clay was known as a great compromiser, very very good at bringing two parties together or two different spectrums together, and coming up with resolution. So I try to present the legislation that I've written, or the proposals that I've written are are very much resolution, not one extreme trying to dominate the other extreme.
Yeah,
There is a lot of this, political tug of war, and some of it is necessary.
sure.
There's some issues that I'm not willing to bend on, but a lot of the issues that I'm going after, like issues in kids in food deserts, weird spending in schools where the spending could go towards helping kids learn. I think that the tug of war is, for the most part, it's not effective. It doesn't help it doesn't help the people.
Yeah,
So I'm very much for finding what the problem is. Let's solve the problems that we agree are problems first, and then we can fight about the other stuff.
yeah.
So on a conservative scale, I'm like a 2, but I'm far enough from being moderate I'm like 2 points off of moderate into being conservative. So, not independent, not moderate, conservative, but still aware of the needs. I'm very much uh, I encourage compassionate capitalism. So we look at people like David Green, who is the CEO of Hobby Lobby,
Mm.
Mardell,
Mm-hmm.
has a very good model for compassionate capitalism. He pays his employees well. He has health care on site. If you go down to the big warehouse at the big Hobby Lobby warehouse, like the biggest one in America,
Yeah.
it's they have a clinic there, and it's very well planned out. Like it's a very good system. Um, and so, I mean, I think that there should be more corporate systems like that.
Mm.
And I mean, he's a really successful guy, and his model works well. A lot of the times, I mean, you have those people that do nag about getting fired or whatever, and they're going to do that. But
Yeah.
but for the
Yeah.
most part, a lot of people I know people that have been there a long time, and they're really happy about it. They get treated well, and the wages are fair, and I mean, I think they're beyond fair, but those people get treated well, and
Yeah.
so I think that more models like that are great. I've heard like Aldi does really well, so I think there are some really good big corporate entities that treat their employees really well. But I think there are too many more that don't treat them well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like they make it a hassle to get health care. They provide all these confusing options for savings and retirement. A thing that I'm big on is that I think that we should be working on preserving Social Security instead of throwing out all these crazy options, for savings plans and group funds and whatnot. One organization that is really bad about it is Walmart. They say, oh, we have so many retirement options. But if everybody, I mean, it's simple math. If everybody would just invest in one retirement option, it would carry better.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
That sounds, yeah. The compassionate capitalism is a very interesting phrase that you used. And I'll speak from my own experiences. I worked at Chesapeake for almost 17 years. And if you know anything about Chesapeake Energy, their campus is beautiful
mhm.
off Northwest 630 and Western Classen. And we had a clinic, health clinic up there.
Yeah.
We had a dentist office. We had a gym, like a world-class gym. Swimming pool,
Yeah.
basketball courts, squash courts,
Child care facility.
childcare
See,
facility,
this is the way that,
restaurants,
yeah,
right? And so I mean we worked hard, but we played hard, and we were treated, to your point, more than fair.
yeah,
Uh, and then yet, it's interesting how people still bash that industry, oil and gas, and it's interesting how people will still bash Hobby Lobby, no matter how amazing the facilities are.
mhm,
People still bash them because of whether it's Christianity, too religious, or now it's too much fossil fuels. We're killing the earth, blah blah blah.
yeah,
But people still love to use their cell phones, whatever. And it's just really interesting how you and I agree on that. There's still those small amount of people, but they're the loudest. They get so much publicity
mhm,
out there, right? So I heard Google's facilities are amazing too.
yeah. Well, Google is a different beast to me. There's one thing that I'm not really a big fan of. That there's the thing out in Pryor, the data center, and so I've been trying to figure out how to combat the issues with so many data centers being developed in my congressional district. We have the largest water table in Oklahoma. It's where the majority of our water comes from. We have things like we have species that have not been considered endangered yet, but there is greater potential for endangerment with the development of like these hyper data centers, things like that. And so we need to there needs to be federal protections for the water and for the agriculture there in eastern Oklahoma, because really we carry the majority of that burden,
Sure.
the water and the agriculture. And so I want to ensure that people there are not they're not losing and they're not selling out for um, you know they're not selling their lineage out.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm very big on like an Abrahamic promise. So we look at scripture, and Abraham is promised by God that the land was not given to him, but to his children and his grandchildren, and
Mm.
their you know the perpetuation of the lineage. And I'm very stern on that. I'm very strong on that. I believe that we can create generational wealth by retaining what we have and giving it to our kids, our grandchildren. And I think that was a biblical model for not going into debt, for not struggling
Sure.
so much.
Mm.
If you gift your children with a fair inheritance, then that's something they don't have to fight so hard. You know, Working hard is important, but not to the point to where it's so stressful that you don't want to work anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can be crippling.
Sure.
So, but hard work, but not to where it's debilitating.
Yeah.
So I think that there's become this stigma to where like, I've known people that own like small painting businesses and they fall off of scaffolds, and they break their back and they're on Social Security and they're only getting $700 a month to start out with, and it's spinal injuries are a big, I mean, very difficult to overcome, especially if you're not super wealthy.
Mm.
And so you go from working hard and having a livable wage to almost nothing. And so I think that going back to proper investment. If we have more people investing into a proper retirement model, a proper insurance model, then more people have the safety net.
So would you, as the representative at the United States House, be able to put something in place for those situations or those people, that group of people that have fallen off the scaffold and can't make a livable wage anymore?
Yeah. So right now I have about 500 pages of legislation that I would propose. I've had several people. I've had economists look at it. I've had insurance people look at it. I've had really well known. I've had people that have navigated Social Security law
Sure.
look at it. And so it's from what they're telling me that it is a good model. And it's my bills are published online. Like you can Google my name and my bills will come up. And I think that if I'm able to get in and able to maybe get a seat at in the Ways and Means Committee, I've talked to Mike Carey's office of Ohio, and I've shared the proposals with him. I've talked to Tim Burchett in his office, and he's chair of the Doge Committee. So there are ways of shaking off the chaff and really focusing on quality appropriations and putting money where it needs to be instead of being so foolish with it.
Yeah.
We have money, we do. It's just it gets spent on silly things.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it does get wasted because if you get the breakout of where all these monies are going, for instance, if you're funding a certain country and you're paying them $3.8 billion, I'd like to know the breakout. And then so once you see the breakout, you're like, holy cow, are we spending that much on condoms or whatever that might be? That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Right?
yeah, for sure. We need to, if we're lending out money, we need to be keeping track of it. What's happening. And again, they have numbers that they provide, but we need to have something like blockchain and have all of our numbers available to where we as citizens can audit and bring to, show concern whenever there is concern.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I think that it's silly, like you said, $3.8 billion, and you're spending $4 million on abortions, or that country is using that money to spend money on abortions,
Yeah.
and we don't even, me, or, you and I as conservatives, we don't really, it's not really our thing to promote that,
Right.
So
Right.
it's just,
Yeah.
I don't think that is a considerate way to spend American dollars.
Yep.
People work hard, or people have worked hard, and we need to be more considerate of the American people.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. You brought up a term, blockchain. So
Mhm.
blockchain is technology,
Yeah.
and then also data centers are what we talked about earlier. So I would like for you to think about and discuss what are some pros of a data center, what are some cons of a data center, and how does a blockchain tie into a data center?
Yeah. Okay. So, as far as placement of data centers, I think that in like downtown, in downtown areas, we have the ability to build upwards, right? So, right now, I don't know really what's going on with the Devon building. I know that it's a lot of the floors are being vacated and whatnot. So that would be a perfect building to have a data center, right? Obviously you could have cooling systems, air cooling systems, things like that. But also, use that we could have water routed to it, and it would be, obviously make them pay for the water,
Sure. Yeah.
make them have insurance and things like that to make sure that they have everything that they need, and that it's not a burden on the people, right? They need to absorb that blow. So my focus is keeping it out of rural Oklahoma, rural America, where it's not affecting what goes on there, right? You already have development in the cities. You already have, you already have lots of jobs in the cities. You have people that are able to go to work at those places, right?
Mhm.
And it's just more appropriate to be in the city, so you can build up with it and all that. And right now there's a several warehouses that could be accommodating for smaller data centers. But as for like these hyper data centers, there's still plenty of real estate around, like the urban area to make that happen.
Yeah. So if you use Devon for example, you're right. They have a lot of things being, or a lot of floors being vacated. So if a data center goes in, it'd have to retrofit for the cooling computer to cool the computers down, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have someone in rural Oklahoma who has farm, and they get approached by a conglomerate, say, "Hey, I want to build this data center," and the farmer agrees to that, does it have to pass city council?
Yeah.
Uh,
So as far as I know, a lot of the times that I've seen, I've seen many people being really upset with their councils. Claremore, right? I think it's Claremore. I think they're suing several members of their city council, um, and I've seen it happen in a few other places, but people are not happy with it. Like if you're a farm, I'll tell you this, in Council Hill, there are a lot of people upset about a big development in Council Hill. I mean, I'm not sure if it's hundreds of acres or thousands. I want to say it's thousands of acres, but it takes up the majority of the topography. Like it's a big chunk out of the map,
mm,
and so a lot of people are really upset about it, and it's not just you selling your farm. It's somebody building a massive facility that's disturbing to somebody else. You know, it, it it's a whenever you do it in the city, it's you already have loud things there. I mean, the traffic's already there. Um, the businesses are already there. all that stuff. Nobody really live. I mean, you do have a few apartments like that are near downtown, but I think there are accommodations to keep out the sounds of traffic and things like that. Whenever you build those things upwards and in the city, you already have the accommodations there, right? Whenever you build them out in the middle of, next to somebody else's farm, it's, it upsets the ecosystem. I mean, not like it upsets their environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason that people move out to the middle of nowhere, is because they want to be in the middle of nowhere. They don't want a big facility right there by them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I've seen a couple of counties or a couple of cities try to annex like county areas, like where I live.
Yeah.
There was a big thing earlier this year, and I had to draft petitions and throw a fit about them trying to absorb part of the county into the city, and it's because the city has just not been good with real estate.
Yeah.
Like they'll do little developments and they won't do multi-story type deals, and it's not good. Like they have the ability to buy land and make multi-story developments in town, and lease out or rent those spaces, to get the money returned to the city,
Yeah.
and then get business out of it,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, just where I see a lot of silliness, a lot of foolishness with, with real estate purchases. Like it seems wasteful to me. So
Yeah. No, that's fine. So then let's just say, what are three pros for a data center and three, I think you named the cons, not necessarily disrupting the ecosystem, but just disrupting the environment of
Yeah.
people. It could become wasteful, noisy, loud. So those are maybe three or four that you already named, but what are maybe three
yeah.
pro?
So like places in Tulsa, again, like downtown, really developed areas, put them up there. I mean, put them in the high populous areas, okay, where the traffic is already there, where the people are already there.
Mhm.
People can go get jobs there, because there's going to be a lot more people that need jobs.
So jobs is one
yeah,
pro
the
for data
jobs,
center.
bringing in money and bringing in, information, data, transmitting information. But one concern for me is where the products are coming from, where, what sort of deals we're making with foreign entities.
Sure.
I wouldn't, if it were up to me, I would say, hey, anything that, I mean, because we had a big thing with TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Like we threw a fit about TikTok because they had our information, right? And so, so much to the point to where we were like, oh well, we need to buy out, whatever entity it is, so that they don't have access to our algorithm or whatever. I don't know all the ins and outs of that.
Sure.
I'm not super savvy on that, but what that was a concern, and and our government threw a fit about it, and so we need to have security. We need to develop our own products. We need to have all of our facilities maintained by our own networks and not allow foreign investors or foreign interest, to have the opportunity to have access to that stuff.
Yeah,
So-
that makes sense. So in order to have it where it's protected, then if it's built somewhere in the United States, then we need to vet. Number one, from what you're saying is we need to vet the product, the specs that go into it,
Yeah.
the ingredients, if you will, to go and build this cake. And don't build it in rural areas and disrupt the environment and the farmers. You're saying retrofit certain buildings to accommodate for the maybe noise pollution or some type of noise reduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that we can look at, whenever we do develop them in the cities, we can look at things like transportation, like hyper trains, things like that. If we can get enough money out of those pardon me, out of those developments. We can get jobs, and we can get products and whatever, and get money out of the data, out of the, I don't know, some of them are like Bitcoin
Hmm.
farmers or whatever.
Yeah,
I think,
miners. Yep.
as long as we can get that out of there and maybe invest in some sort of transportation, that way we can have people that are in like the rural areas go from rural area on like a hyper train, for instance, to the more developed area. They're still getting the jobs, they're still getting the access, they're able to go back and invest in small communities, but not have the big ugly thing there.
It'll save you a lot of time from Barnesville to Durant.
Yeah,
Right? It'll
yeah,
cut your time by like
yeah,
maybe just a quarter of the time.
yeah.
Okay, I get that. So then, blockchain technology. You're on board with blockchain technology because blockchain doesn't lie. We talked about the transparency of blockchain, but that also ties into data centers somehow. So
Yeah,
you're for that, and you're for data centers to a certain extent, and
yeah.
so that tracks. What's important to you on the blockchain? What do you like about the blockchain?
The accountability is there.
Yeah.
It allows citizens to go in and look at everything and do audits and show concerns, and that means that they can email their legislators and say, hey, this is a concern for me. I don't like the way this is being spent. This is how much my community is putting into such and such. Um, so I think that the accountability is a thing, and the ability for the people um, to kind of call out what is concerning to them.
Yeah.
It needs to be accessibility should be more common. We're looking at things like voter access and things like that. If you have a mom that's working 3 jobs and doesn't have the opportunity to stop by the it's not called the DMV anymore. It's Access Oklahoma or whatever it is.
Hmm.
He doesn't have the opportunity to stop by there. You should be able to do something online, like a ID.me or a GovX type of deal, and have the IDs that she needs to go vote. If she gets the opportunity to do so. I want to expand accessibility or I would like to see accessibility expanded for American citizens that are able to show ID and whatnot, and
Hmm.
able to, but also I think American citizens should have easier access to ID. Passports are, like I said, if you're a single mom working 3 jobs or whatever, a passport is probably, a pretty big purchase. Especially if you're having to do it for, you and your kids or whatever. Most of the time, that's the way it's done. So, um, just accessibility to records. I mean, we have it now to where we can order our birth certificates online,
Hmm.
and it's a pretty easy process. Just make our papers easier for us as American citizens, legal citizens to access. It's our stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So, um, yeah, we should be able to have access to information. So,
So,
blockchain.
yeah, yeah. So on the blockchain, voter fraud could be eliminated
It could
because
be.
it's so transparent.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And then to get a voter ID, you're saying it shouldn't be so difficult because the passports cost money.
Hmm.
Is that what you're saying? So it costs money to get a passport. So if you can get your birth certificate in the state of Oklahoma, then you can get your real ID relatively inexpensive.
Hmm.
But that human, that citizen, has to go put in the time to go do such
Yeah.
instead of a passport, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And so at the end of the day, really, it's up to you as a citizen. You get the right to vote. You've earned that right to vote. So you've got to produce the ID to vote. And how to access that actually becomes on you, and you got to be accountable and take
Yeah.
some ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've heard some hoopla about like privacy concerns or whatever. You're
Yeah.
getting the ID from the government. There's no privacy concern.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they own the ID. Really, like you look on the back of the ID and it says it's not your property. They're lending
Right.
it to you.
Yeah.
And so, it's they have your information. Just be cooperative and have a copy of it. And then whenever you go vote, it's
Sure.
I mean it's easy.
Yeah, and you're right, man. I think there's quite a few people, or maybe there are some people that they complain about everything, man. They
Mhm.
complain about soft tacos not having enough lettuce, but they'll go back to it anyways because
If you
they
give me
wanna
a
complain.
if you give me a soft taco with a bunch of lettuce, I mean it's gone. I'm throwing it. Do not put. Listen, if you're watching this and you make tacos, do not put all that rabbit food on my taco.
Yeah, just give me the meat and cheese.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what I'm saying is that those soft taco eaters will keep going back because they want to complain and complain and complain.
Yeah.
But they want to take ownership and go to a different soft taco
I,
maker.
so I think going back to political climate, I think that we're very much and we live in that world where people they want the ability to complain, you know, and I mean I go sometimes I'll go on rants about our legislators like they pass bills and they ask for money to pretend to solve an issue, and then they don't solve the issue. They complain that they need more money, and then they go back. It's very circular.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that personally I'm tired of.
Gotcha.
Stop asking for our money and not solving problems. So
I like it.
that's where I'm at with it.
Okay.
I think that complaining it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Just find a way to solve the problem, and solve the problem.
Well, hell, listening to people complain
Yeah.
is exhausting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So when you get elected and you're in the United States House of Representatives, everything we talked about from blockchain to data centers to nonprofits, being an advocate for humans, you're going to be able to help shape a bill and get it passed through cooperation and collaboration with your colleagues in the House.
Yeah.
Is that the goal?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
So you'll have pros and cons of each measures, and you'll write your 500-page bill, and then you'll pass it on, and
Yeah.
they can dissect.
Which is not my bills are not omnibus. Like they're not
Okay.
50 different topics. They are generally single topic issues, but they're very expansive on the issue.
And that makes sense. We need
Yeah.
single topics
Yeah.
and substance to the topics instead of omnibus, where it's multiple layers of topics
Mhm.
with very few substance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too broad.
Yeah.
So I've got to know you off the mic for about 45 minutes to an hour, and you're a very personable guy. I really enjoy talking to you, Will. And so let's get into your brain a little bit on your own personal side. Okay?
Okay.
If you were to have coffee with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be, and what would the topics of conversation be?
Okay. I will. Yeah. So dead. Let's go with Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
So very, very similar. I've had like this weird upbringing. So whenever I was, so between the ages of birth and like 10, like I lived in a really, 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 I mean like a big house, like in a really nice urban area. Actually pretty close to here,
Okay.
around this area. And do you know where Rivendell is? Over
Oh,
100
yeah. South
119
West
yeah,
Oh,
over
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
Okay.
and so went from there to my mom had 2 clinics in Oklahoma City, and then she retired, and we moved out to the middle of nowhere. So and then we just kind of we got so much more land, but downsized on the houses. She's like, oh, I don't want to clean a big old house or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it was very much a culture shift. But anyway, so Lincoln was went from being in a small house log cabin to being in the White House.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think that a lot of the things that he learned kind of like freelance type of learning, and so that would be the first one, Lincoln. The second one, uh, probably Denzel Washington.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, Denzel
Both of them
Washington.
so far. Yeah.
He's very very aware of the Bible, very 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 good actor, very he's I think he's a cool dude.
He does a lot of
Philanthropic stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And he's he's a good philanthropist. He has great philosophy.
Yeah.
He's very very good at oration, um, and I don't I don't can it be a date? I don't know. Ella Langley. Do you know who Ella Langley is?
No, is it a woman?
Yeah, so it's a woman.
Okay.
So it's a date.
She's good. I won't be mad about that.
So yeah, I wouldn't be mad about it either. If you could make that happen, let me know, man.
So describe her. I don't know who that is.
Okay, so she's a very kind of like old timey, like Loretta Lynn,
Okay.
kind of what's that other old country singer lady's name?
Reba?
No, not Reba. She's older than Reba. I don't even know if she's still alive. They honored her at the Kennedys, but at the Kennedy Award, she has a Kennedy Award. Anyways, so she's a really good songwriter, singer songwriter. She's won like I don't know, like 10 awards this week, like big like seasonal awards for music.
Okay.
And she's really cool. She's got a really cool vibe. She's very much a Jesus hippie type of person. So
Okay.
she's a cool person. Yeah, you said 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
What about one more? What about fourth one?
Oh, fourth one. I feel like George Bush would be fun.
Which one?
Oh,
Senior.
the one that's alive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the one that's alive. So, yeah, the senior would probably be a little bit trippy for me. There's probably a lot of CIA secrets there that I wouldn't want to know about. But yeah, George Bush. Yeah, George W. would be it.
Okay.
So actually, there's a picture online with a Senate candidate. She's running for a Democratic seat. Nikayla Jasmine Thomas. There's a picture of us, and people were commenting like George W. and Michelle Obama vibes. And I was like, okay. So, yeah. I mean, it's George W. He's a funny dude.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
and maybe I could get some like season or lifetime tickets for Rangers games out of him. I don't know.
You remember that one time he talked about fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice.
Yeah.
You're not gonna fool me. You're not gonna fool me again. Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there are a lot of those little quibs that he had. I mean, he's a funny dude. He is. So.
If you were to write a book, what would the title of your book be?
Look what I can do.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, probably look what I can do.
Okay.
Or a tangled web. I don't know.
A tangled web.
But I think it sounds a little bit close to like an Alex Cross type of deal, like a James, what's his name? He writes the Cross. I know what his name is. I'm just shot for it right now. Along Came a Spider. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a really good. I read a lot of those books. I can't believe I can't remember what his name is, the author. But yeah.
What does American flag mean to you, man?
Man, I tell you what. So I do this thing and it happened last week. My buddy and I went out. We were talking to somebody that has an issue with our Department of Corrections. She has an issue with them, and it's out. We were out in the sticks, and these people had this torn up, Old Glory hanging there, and I get really disturbed about torn up flags. I do. My grandfather he had a 25-year career in the Army. Worked for was a DOD patent attorney, and and I served. I have friends that are no longer with me that have served, and it really upsets me whenever people aren't considerate of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a symbol of 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 privilege, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a symbol of the rights that we have. That we're born with, that we're given to by. I mean, we're given by God. So that's really what it means to me. I mean, then there's the historic stuff too. I mean, the representation of our foundation and whatnot. But there's the history to it, and there's a lot to it.
Sure.
But I do I would go out of the way to try to ensure that it's treated properly. So.
Yeah. You notice our flag is pretty new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one right there?
The one outside on our flagpole.
No, I didn't notice that one
Yeah.
yet. No. I think I came around this way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are a couple questions you wish people would ask you, but nowhere to ask?
Oh my gosh. So people seem to be they're not aware of how Title IV works. They're not aware of how much money they could be getting from a centralized retirement plan like Social Security. They're not aware of it, and they see things like roads, and they see things like the price of gas, and they see things like the price of eggs. Right? They don't see the pickpocket. You know what I mean? Since, like I said, since 1975, this has been happening. And we've been getting pickpocketed since 1975, whenever this was established. And so I wish that they knew more about it. I mean, I talk about it, but I wish it was like a bigger thing. But it's kind of like legislators want it to be like a hush hush type of deal. And mostly, I believe, because they don't have to worry about it. Like they have retirement, they have, they spend 3 terms or 2 terms if you're a senator, and you're in. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like you I think it's actually 1 term. You only have to do 6 years for retirement as a senator. I think it's 6 years both. So it's three terms as a house rep.
Yeah.
And then it's just 1 term as a senator.
Oh wow.
So, but like 6 years is it, and then you get the pension.
Oh man.
So,
what's a pension like? Do you know?
I don't think it's like a whole lot. The retirement is a lot more. And I think that there's an option to like invest. I haven't. I'm not real broad on that. But I do know that like there have been a couple candidates that have just done their terms, and then they're 3 terms as House rep, and then they just leave. And then there's people that have done like 1 term as a senator and just left and got the pension.
Oh, so kind of using the system.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
So they're not out there fighting for like a centralized retirement plan. They're not out there trying to preserve Social Security.
I gotcha.
They're not trying to do any of that. So I wish that people knew how much and how often they were getting pickpocketed.
So you wish someone would ask you
Yeah.
More in depth about Title IV.
Right.
Gotcha. What about on a personal level?
Oh, on a personal level, I don't know. I'm pretty transparent, man. Like I put a lot of my stuff out there. I don't know. Like I don't know. What's your hair routine? I guess.
What is your hair routine? You got nice hair.
I do. I've. That is a question that I get asked. I mean, I don't know. I use collagen.
Okay.
So I mean, but I mean, I try to keep it dry because if I don't wash my hair like every day, I mean, it's
Yeah.
really thick. I mean, it's
Okay.
really, really thick. And so if I don't keep it really dry, then it turns into a mess. So
Yeah. What are you most proud of, man?
oh man, I don't like a personal accomplishment or so I brag about my grandpa a lot.
Mm.
Like this dude, the coolest dude I've ever known. Just a brilliant man, grandmaster in chess, excellent attorney. Just was made sure that his family was taken care of. He was one of those guys that could walk into a room and just not say anything, and people would know that he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
As where like me, like I have to talk a whole lot before people even have the slightest inclination that I'm somewhat intellectual. And I'm not even that. I mean, I am a very dim. I'm a brown crayon compared to his yellow. I mean, I'm not nearly as bright as he was. Um, and then my kid, like my kid is a very, she's I think that she's going to be a successful person. She's very inquisitive. She's very I mean she if she finds something to do, she's good at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, you should give yourself more credit because you were in chess club at one point, and it's
Yeah.
not easy to play chess. I
Yeah.
love chess, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? It's intellectual, it's thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. So yeah, you're not dim. You're not a brown crayon.
I appreciate
So,
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So
How do you want to be remembered, man?
um, I, hum, I would like to be known by humility. You don't have to be like you don't have to be super wealthy to accomplish anything. You don't have to be rude or inflammatory to make a difference. Um, I think that the Martin Luther King, the Jesus, the Mahatma Gandhi, the even the Buddhas of the world are they. I think that there could be more people like that.
Mm. Humble.
People that are modest and humble and simple and don't have to gouge things or gouge for things and um, I think that you can. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers. I should have said that for the coffee thing. Yeah, Mr. Rogers is cool. So I mean, like something like that. If I could be like known as like the DC Joe Dirt Mr. Rogers guy, then that would be okay.
That'd be pretty awesome.
So
What a combination.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
Well, Mr. Will Webb, if you don't mind looking at the camera, do you approve this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm Will Webb, and I approve this podcast.
My name is Wong Lim, and I definitely approve this podcast.
All right.